What's up, folks? Your buddy Fatalroadie. Today we're doing a Raw recap. Start off with Randy Orton coming out. He talks about his match last night at Backlash, what he did to Edge, and after last night, he is the greatest wrestler ever. You better not let Shane McMahon hear that. Randy Orton brings up Edge's tricep tear and says he'll see him in 9 years. Christian comes out, calls Randy Orton an SOB, and says Edge will get closure on his terms, not Randy's. Randy says this has absolutely nothing to do with you, and then makes it something about him by challenging him to an unsanctioned match. He says the offer will expire at the end of the night, and if he doesn't accept, he's a coward. Then backstage, we have an interview with Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. We have a recap of the kickoff show at Backlash, and they talk about their match, which is next. Kevin Owens versus Angel Garza. Zelina Vega's at ringside. Soon after the match starts, Andrade comes out. In a ringside argument with Andrade and Garza, Zelina Vega says she's had enough of it and walks off. The match was okay. Andrade grabs Kevin Owens' leg, gets up on the apron to distract the referee. This only backfires because Kevin Owens gives a stunner to Garza and gets the pin. Zelina Vega then returns to the ring, tells Andrade and Angel Garza to stop fighting and let's get going. It was right about this time that my cable decided to crap out. Thank you, Frontier. But I do also have to thank him because I missed a good segment of Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Lana in the ring.
And to make a long story short, too late!
Bobby Lashley wants a divorce with Lana. That didn't last long. Then we got a recap of the Viking Raiders Street Profits saga leading up to last night at Backlash. Then in a backstage interview, the Viking Profits are approached by Akira Tozawa and his merry men. Which brings us into our next match. The Viking Profits versus Akira Tozawa and a bunch of ninjas. Yes, ninjas are now canon in WWE. That big ass ninja that was on Backlash while he's sitting at ringside. This was a waste of a match. The Viking Profits win. The big ninja and Akira Tozawa get into the ring. Then the big show comes out. He lays out all the little ninjas. And Akira Tozawa and the big ninja escape up the ramp. As if this segment could not get any more fucking stupid. But wait, there's more to come with this. Then we got Seth Rollins coming out. He talks about Rey Mysterio's sacrifice, which of course brings up Rey Mysterio up on the Titantron. He warns Seth Rollins not to mess with Dominic. Rollins says that he wants Dominic to join the Disciples. Mysterio says if Rollins or one of his goons touches Dominic, he will end Rollins. Rollins gets on his knees, starts talking to Mysterio, and Dominic comes up from behind, attacks Rollins. Dominic is cornered by the Disciples, but was able to evade their attacks and escapes. Backstage, R-Truth gets Drew McIntyre into some deep water by making their tag team match against Bobby Lashley and MVP a winner-take-all match. Then we got Liv Morgan and Natalya versus the Iconics. This was a match. It really wasn't much of a match at all. The Iconics won. Shocker. The Australian Bella Twins get on the microphone. They call out Sasha Banks and Bayley and say they want a match now for the titles. There's no answer to this. So apparently the Iconics know someone who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Get on with it!
Anyways, they say they're going to have a match next week. And to make a correction from last night, Sasha Banks and Bayley are going to be facing Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart, not Tegan Nox and Io Shirai. I messed that one up. Sorry. We got Christian up on a stage for the interview. He says he's going to accept Randy Orton's challenge. Okay. Backstage, MVP tries to get Apollo Crews to join his group. Apollo Crews says no, but this does add a little bit of a twist in the upcoming match. Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin. Apollo Crews does have some new music. That's pretty decent. This was an okay match, albeit it was a quick one. There was a good bit of action. I did like it. Shelton Benjamin tried to go for a pin, had his foot up on the ropes. The referee caught it. Then Apollo Crews, surprise roll up. Yeah, those things happen a lot. But he had his arm wrapped around the ropes, got the pin. So does this mean a possible heel turn for Apollo Crews? Who knows? We'll have to see. Backstage, the Big Show approaches the Viking Profits and comes up with a brilliant idea on how to settle the big whatever you can do, I can do better thing with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. Let's have a tag team match for the Raw tag team titles. Holy shit, what a novel fucking idea. Then we got Bobby Lashley and MVP versus Drew McIntyre and R-Truth. Now apparently it's just for the WWE title. This was an okay match. Things got a little bit worried when R-Truth tagged himself in and got himself hammered for a little bit. McIntyre was able to tag himself back in. R-Truth sidesteps Bobby Lashley, sending him into the steps. McIntyre hits the Claymore kick on MVP and then gives the glory to R-Truth, getting the pin on MVP. This is a decent match. I was actually thinking it was going to be a shit show, but it actually turned out to be rather decent. Sasha Banks and Bayley come out, they talk about Backlash, and it's Bayley's birthday. Happy birthday. Soon after, the Iconics come out, they want their answer. After good verbal back and forth, Peyton Royce slaps the ever-loving piss out of Sasha Banks. Bayley yells at the Iconics, and for punishment for slapping Sasha Banks, they get their title match next week. Haha, awesome, good match. Then we got Asuka versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. Again, I guess we just didn't have time for shit anyway. This is an match. Nia Jax had most of the offense. She tried to pin Asuka, but her foot was under the ropes. The referee didn't count it. Nia Jax pissed off. She shoves the referee. As the referee was walking to the corner to disqualify her, Asuka rolls her up, and the referee does probably the fastest count I have ever seen, and Asuka gets the win. We then have Christian versus Randy Orton in an unsanctioned match. After all the intros, we have less than 5 minutes, especially after Randy Orton's entrance, which makes the Undertakers look like a track meet. Before the match, Ric Flair comes out, he gets in the ring, tells Christian, no, you don't have to do this. Christian says he has to, so we're having our match. Bell rings, and Ric Flair gives Christian the low blow, walks out of the ring. Randy Orton gives him a punt, pins him. Orton is blaming Christian for all of this as medics are coming out. Orton tells the medics to take care of him. Orton tells Christian that he didn't want to do this, that it's his fault, as we end tonight's Raw. Tonight's Raw was decent. Most of the matches were, a good portion of them were alright. I liked them. But then at the same time, we had a few that really could have been done without. I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing with Apollo Crews, because like I said, there was just that little tint of dark side in him. You know, like he might be turning heel. Who knows? I really hope we're going to be done with this whole Viking Raiders and Street Profits thing next week. We had, I don't know how many competitions, and the only way we can figure this out is, hey, let's have a tag team match. Anyways, Rey Mysterio is supposed to be back next week. I really didn't think of the possible twist that Dominic might be a disciple coming up, and that would prove to be a little bit interesting, but we'll have to see. And that'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back later this week with the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought about this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.